I want to welcome everybody to our annual Rotary Mini Grant Awards presentation. My name is Gary Boyer. I'm the president of the Rotary Club this year. First we want to thank all of the teachers for everything that, all the applicants and everything that we got in. And we especially want to thank the Rotarians and the generosity of the community of Glendora for raising the money for us to be able to do this every year. If we could right now, I would like to ask that if all the Rotarians would please stand and be recognized. Okay, we especially would like to thank the Rotarians that were on the mini grant committee. And that would be Jane Bach. You would stand, Jane, back in the back. Mark Chaldoud. Joe Cena is already standing. Pat Janes, Keith Hilliard, and naturally, Tom Hill, our chairman. Thank you. To recognize some special faces that are with us here today, I would just like to recognize Dr. Bors, Superintendent of Glendora Unified District, and Mike Hendricks, Superintendent of the Charter Oak School District. And then as far as we do have, I did see Doris Bloom, member of the Glendora Unified School Board is here. And Jane Bach, again, is a member of the Charter Oak School Board. And I believe we've recognized everybody at this point. I don't see anyone else. But with that, if we could get things started, I would like to introduce the chairperson of our Mini Grants Committee this year, Mr. Tom Hill.
Thanks, Gary. I'm going to try to vamp here because one of the people that I want to recognize I don't think is in the room. Oh, okay. First of all, before I get too far into what I have to say, and it's really going to be very short, I want to thank one person from the Glendora Unified School District who really is my anchor whenever I need a problem solved. She's right there, and that's Jenna Wells from Mark Chaldoud's office. Jenna, she's great. Today is an incredible day. It's a real milestone for Glendora Rotary as well as for Glendora students and teachers, because this, believe it or not, is the 30th year that we've been doing mini grants for teachers in this community. We're within a breath of raising slightly over $400,000 for teachers to help them and their students. The idea of mini grants wasn't a new concept. When Bill Bird and several other Glendora Rotarians came up with it 30 years ago, other Rotary clubs had similar programs, but it was the drive of Bill and his friends in Rotary that refined and further developed the idea. Contacts were made, protocols were established, funding sources were identified, and now we have this wonderful program that each year raises money to fund innovative ideas for use in a teacher's classroom. Bill Bird was at the core of this project, and we honor his memory each year by dedicating this program to him. However, last year we lost another stalwart supporter of mini grants, Lonnie Exton. Lonnie's wife is here with us this morning, or this afternoon, Betty Exton. Throughout the years, Lonnie was one of the evaluators of the grant applications. He always provided the teachers with certificates of recognition. Even last year, when he was fighting pulmonary fibrosis and when it was at its fiercest, he continued to provide leadership for our mini grants. Please note in the program those folks who gave generously to this year's campaign in honor and in memory of Lonnie. But simple recognition in the program didn't seem to be enough. So the club's board took a separate action. See, when Rotary donates to do things, not only are they in the Rotary family, but they have the Rotary family in them. For those that don't know, when someone donates $1,000 or more to the Rotary Foundation, they're awarded a visible recognition of their support by becoming a Paul Harris Fellow. Paul Harris is the founder of the Rotary Club. In addition to his work with local projects, Lonnie was a major contributor to the Rotary International Foundation. So to combine Lonnie's two Rotary passions, mini grants locally and the Rotary Foundation internationally, this year Glendora Rotary, along with his wife Betty, would like to honor a dedicated teacher as a Paul Harris Fellow. We do this by utilizing the Paul Harris points that Lonnie earned while giving in excess of $10,000 to the International Foundation. The selection of a recipient was easier than one might imagine. We've chosen an unflagging supporter of the mini grants program over the years, both as a contributor and as a grant recipient. I'd like to ask Carol Gilkinson from Washington Elementary to, in Charter Oak, to please come forward. Not only is Carol a wonderful teacher, but she's also a great supporter of the library because they work on that foundation as well. And it's now my great pleasure to introduce our district governor from District 5300, Mr. Miles Petroff, who will present this award to Carol.
It's really interesting because, can you hear me now? No, because I used to work for Verizon. But for about, the education's always been in my heart. When I was president of Rotary back in 2003, I had a program for 7 years where I volunteered my time every Friday at one elementary school, and I worked with a lot of kids. In turn, what happened is I ended up getting this Medal of Honor award through San Bernardino County for being the volunteer person that year. And it's really kind of a hitch in the heart what we do with the children and the teachers. Then I thought about Rotary, and we thought about Paul Harris when he started in 1905 and the idea of getting business people together. And then in the 1940s, how do we get money for a foundation, and what they did, and he got this together. And basically what happened is a lot of Rotarians end up giving a lot of money to a foundation, but what happens now in Rotary, especially in the last 15 years that I've been involved, and being district governor, because I get to go all to the clubs, and we do a lot with schools, and it's not possible without Rotarians and outside contributors given to the foundation and to Rotary. But what happens is 3 years from now, Rotary International takes 50% of all that money and gives it back to the district. And then in turn what we do is, I have 70 clubs, we distribute this all out to all the clubs to help out any kind of programs locally and internationally. And about 60% of all the programs that are being asked to have money is always something with schools, and from helping the teachers to teacher grants. And this is so special of what we've done and what we do. And before I actually give the word, I have one that I kind of made out with the district. Carol. You made a significant contribution to the Glendora Club mini grants over the 30 years in effort to support ongoing education and community youth. And these contributions were indispensable and best defined their terms of community and excellent in education, resulting in great things that you do in the school. Whereas Paul Harris founded Rotary International on ideals of integrity, strength, and character, persistence, a face of challenges, Carol, you exemplify all these characteristics in both personal and professional role as an educator for more than 30 years. Whereas Carol, in a positive reflection in the higher morals and standards set by Rotarians worldwide, Rotary International District 5300 wishes to honor you and your sacrifices that made in the support of the youth in the community, and her selfishness for her to create an environment for all educators that is positive, responsible, and impactful. And that resolve, as myself as Governor Miles Petroff, I would like to give you, in behalf of all the Rotarians in the district, to salute and give you, and thanks to Carol through the presentation of the Paul Harris Fellow, vow to support her commitment and work for the name of peace, economic, and community development and all our children. So this is from our district. Every Rotary, the president, we kind of like tell him, hey, just kind of follow what we're doing. But the main person is the foundation.
Okay, I'm going home.
You're the third person. But what puts all this together and really organize the money, who's doing what, and get everything going, also working with the district to get the money, and what we do, and how. When an individual is recognized in Rotary as 1,000 points or $1,000 to get Paul Harris, this is special. But we also, as a Rotarians and Rotary group, we have the option of going out of our Rotary group in the community and recognize special people. And we all also honor them as Paul Harris Fellows. And Craig. I'll let you read this to her.
Carol Gilkinson is hereby named a Paul Harris Fellow in appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations among peoples of the world.
Thank you very much. What, you said 30 years? This
Oh, that's
is
big for you.
fantastic.
That's right. And Carol has been not only getting grants, but giving grant money.
Wow. And you're here to help all other educators when we need help. But I want to thank you very much for everything. This is fantastic. Okay. Picture taken.
Can you get a picture?
You want to get more over?
Get one more people.
Sorry to leave, I gotta go back to work.
Get back to work. Okay.
In Anaheim. See you guys all later. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, it's special to have Miles come up here. It's really busy with managing over 50 or over 70 clubs in the district. But he's got a job as well, like the rest of us. So he was down in Anaheim Hills and drove all the way up here just for that presentation. So really privileged to have him here. With that, it's time to start the presentation of the awards. What we would like to do is we're going to call each school up here. We're going to introduce the principals and have the principal come up and they will introduce their teachers. As we introduce each school, if you could come up and line up right to my left, your right, okay? And the principal will invite you up and we'll make the presentation. And then if we could get you to stay up here, because we'd like to ask if everybody goes outside and gets a picture taken as a group picture for each individual school. Okay? So without further ado, we will start with Washington Elementary School and Principal Aaron Villaverde. Oh, she's not here. Oh, say, Micah, it's your privilege to come up.
Thanks, Gary and Tom, and on behalf of the Charter of the Unified School District, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club and the Rotary Club members that are here today for your generous donations in the mini grants each and every year. We're grateful to have you help support our school district. And we have two of our schools here today. They're from the Glendora, city of Glendora. And Aaron is not here, so it's with great pleasure that I will be calling up the winners for Washington Elementary School. So at first, I'd like to call up Ann Dover and Donald Rowe. And their through the American Revolution. And next we have Tracy Hayden, and Tracy's project is snail science. And our third project, Carol Gilkinson, and Carol has a project entitled Developing Critical Readers. Just a note, Carol's been working in our school district, and I might get the number wrong, but I think Carol has been working for 40?
This is the 43rd.
I had it right, 43 years for Charter Oaks, so thank you very much.
Okay, next up, we've got Willow Elementary School, Principal Michelle. And if we could go ahead and have the teachers come up and line up here, so get through this as quick as possible.
It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you to Glendora Rotary. Our teachers are so excited when we get that email that it's grant time again, and in the staff room there's all that talk about those catchy titles that they're going to use for their grants. Our first grant is Mrs. Kelly Evans and Mrs. Carol Sepulveda, A Novel Approach, chapter books used in literacy circles. And our second mini grant went to Janelle Maluinda, where Janelle teaches our moderate severe special day class, and it's for Willow Life Skills program. Just go right up the door.
Turn to your left.
Okay, next up, we have Collin Elementary. So if the teachers would come up and line up here, and I'd like to introduce Principal Cheryl Vaughn.
Like the others have said, thank you Rotarians for your fundraising and making these possible. It is very exciting for you to implement your innovations, like All the Better to Hear in Time with You, Lenora Mara. Making Math Magical, Jane Thompson. Hands-on material makes science come alive, Rinda Lemaster. Teacher Toolkit for Common Core, Karen Batista. My Wheels Are Turning, Cindy Adams and Marilyn Marsh. And Versatiles for Versatile Instruction, Sherry Seiler.
Thank you very much. Next, we have La Fetra Elementary. You guys would come up and line up here, and Principal Marie Purcell.
Good afternoon, and I want to say thank you on behalf of all of the La Fetra students to the Glendora Rotary. We are really fortunate to receive this extra money to implement some really cool, innovative ideas that our teachers bring to the classroom every day. And a lot of our teachers do this every year, so we're really fortunate that they are here often. From, let me see, glasses. It's a Wild, Wild World, Sandy Kuga. Club Recess, Eileen Wiest and Christine Wells. Building Our Minds with Nonfiction Books, Carol Eden, and accepting for her is Julie Rodriguez. She's going for her first grad baby. Not me. Not you, Carol. Not me. We know that. Growing a Classroom of Readers, one kindergartner at a time, Kim Kupas and Julie Rodriguez. sailing the seas of success on the SS Intervention. Our dynamic duo, Shireen Bibbins and Janet Richter. They're like twins. Common Core Writers Workshop, Katie Mendos. One good turn deserves another, Polly Clemens. And Common Core Language Strands, Stacy Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Sellers Elementary, Principal Steve Bishop.
All right, I do also want to thank Rotary for the opportunities they provide for our teachers each year. We really appreciate it. We'll get off started here. We got Learning to Read and Reading to Learn, Maureen Cobley. Sensational Sensory Learning Tools, that's hard to say. Casey Alvarez and Dalia Eldrigili. And Magnificent Magnetic 10 Frames, Christy Boers.
Moving right along, next we have Stanton Elementary School with Principal Sarah. I can't read my writing. Nahara. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much on behalf of Nova Scotia University at Stanton. I'd like to introduce the following teachers. ABC is for me, for Beth Gorski. Let them read would be Ruthie Fagerstrom, who's unable to be here today, so I'll send that for her. Thank you. Robots don't run themselves. Be precise, Barbara Taylor. Letter learning, tubs and books, Cynthia Castro. Extra, read all about it, current events in the classroom, Rebecca Valbuena. Independent math and reading practice, Amy Estrada. Family engineering, Catherine Creeder. And take a ride on the Reading Express, Darla Elder.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up we have Sutherland Elementary, Principal Sherry Cole.
Thank you very much, and I would like to thank the Glendora Rotary Club for this opportunity for our teachers and our students to enhance our students' education. Okay, we have with Smart to the Core, Lisa Overstreet. Who's in the News, times 10, Carol Elisalda. Walk Through the American Revolution, Jana Jacobson, Randon Rice, and Lisa Herrera. And Jody Peralta is not able to join us, so Jana will take on her behalf.
Goddard Middle School, up next, Principal Brock Jacobson.
Unfortunately, Mr. Jacobson is not able to be here, so my name is Eric Osborne, the assistant principal. Thank you so much. Every year, the Rotarians of Glendora do an amazing job, and our teachers take advantage of it. So I have a few people here today that I'd like to recognize. First, with Bowling Group is Laura Carrington. And mini grant for mini lab monitors. They wrote a grant for monitors. They're setting up a lab inside the 300 North building. And so we have Teresa Lowry. Charlotte Appian, who cannot be here, J.C. Long, who cannot be here, Kyle Sabota, and Amy Lee, would you give us a some power? Thank you.
Got this under control now, don't you? Hey, you know what's coming next. Sandburg Middle School, Principal Scott Bell.
We do want to thank Rotary for all that you do for our students and our community. Very appreciative. This is Sandburg's largest group that we've had received grants in a number of years, so we're excited about the opportunity. So thank you very much. So I'd like to call the teachers forward. We're going to start with Commit to be Fit. We have Tricia Curtis, Greg Bedoli, Javier Chavez, and Paulette Grady. Triumph Over Adversity, Kristen Kerrigan and Pam Henley. Creating the Common Core Classroom, Christy Espino and Rich Olivas. And World History Blast from the Past Summit 2, Chris Rivas and Ryan Cowden.
Okay, moving right along. Looks like Glendora High School is up next. Mr. Paul Lopez.
Once again, I would like to thank the Rotary for providing these grants for our teachers. Very helpful to our classrooms. I'd like to start off by introducing Kelly Houlihan with USS Iowa, the ship of the presidents. Deb Klum, who works with Melissa Gurman on the anti-bullying campaign throughout the district. Scott Turner, read across the curriculum. And Jimmy Liao for data pros.
Okay, and last but definitely not least, Whitcomb High School and Principal Ron Letourneau.
This is new to me, so thank you very much. This is great. On behalf of all the students at Whitcomb, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club for everything they're doing for our kids and for our teachers. First, we have biology lab materials, Mary Health. And Go Paperless, Leroy Cook.
And with that, I turn it back over to you.
For just a moment.
For just a moment. That's all.
Actually, you're going to do the closing, but all of you are aware that we went online this year with the application. Some people thought that was good. I'm not sure all did, but it worked out well, and it was much more organized for us. And the person we have to thank for that is Josina in the back with the camera, because Joe is technology. Since I was president the second time last year, he's trying to drag me into 1994. I'm getting it. But one of the aspects of the online application that's important is that you notice there, it indicated that we need to have receipts, and they need to be to us by the 15th of April. Obviously, if there's some extenuating circumstance, and you can't do that, you would need to let us know. But every year for the last couple of years, we've we've been able to get a nice grant from the district level for mini grants, but the only way we can get that money is by providing those receipts and a summary of what happened, with the grant itself. So please try to spend the money as quickly as you can, but save the receipts. Be sure to send us copies so that we don't get in trouble with the district. And now I turn it back over. Again, thank you all. I love doing this project. Been doing it either as a contributor or on the committee or as chair for almost 30 years. So it's something I'm very passionate about. I'll give you now our current president, Mr. Boyer.
In closing, I'd just like to give a very special thank you to Tom Hill for everything that he has done for this over the number of years and the things he does for the community in general. But he did another fantastic job this year, and let's give Tom a big hand. It's a privilege for us as Rotarians to be able to reach out and do something to help the students of the community and help the teachers with everything that you do. We recognize the sacrifices that you guys make, and we understand how tight dollars are in a school district today. And anything that we can do, we always want to help wherever we can. But it's such a privilege to be in a community where we have this much teacher involvement that want to go to this extent to try to put better information into the classroom for your students. I could have used a better teacher in public speaking, couldn't I? But it's just, and it's great to be in a community that all of this money was raised. It wasn't just raised by Rotarians. When you look at the program, we reached out to the community, and a lot of members of the community stepped up and wrote checks in order to help the students of Glendora. And it's just so special to live in a community like this, and it's a privilege for all of us. With that, I just want to thank everybody again, and we are adjourned. Thank you.